Yeah, welcome back to the Sardine news. This is my second take on this video because the stupid computer keeps on failing me. However, what's not going to fail you are the sardine sighting map. Every year we do that, and this year is no different. But the sardine fever has set in around here. Can you see on the Facebook and all those places? There's sardines in Dolumi, Port Alfred, Coffee Bay, Oka. Yeah, there's sardines everywhere, according to people. But there's such a proliferation of bait fish around the place right now. True, there are gannets, and gannets are maybe only focused on sardines, but I'm sure if a shoal of red eyes went past, those gannets would also chow them. But nobody knows, nobody knows, nobody knows. But we can rely on the sardine maps, all right? Since 2021, we've been logging this stuff. And we try our best to verify it so you don't have sardine fever taking over like it's going to. We watch the next few. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. On the maps, we're also logging incidents and accidents and fish catches and all kinds of stuff because why not? For like in the future, for reference, scientific perhaps use, decision makers. And we've been logging these red tides, these fish kills. Hey, looking bad. We're looking very bad as humans. We just pooing in all the rivers and it's not working out for the fish. Check this out. Steve Benjamin, luckily, it's a great guy in Cape Town, very conservation minded. He was there and he saw the bioluminescence. And then next thing, you wake up in the morning and there's all the crayfish and all the fish lying on the beach. So DAF pulled in, and you can't eat those crayfish because they might have this special anti-heat poisoning that you can hear about all over the place. I've been trying to explain. He has an explanation of how these red tides actually occur. And then Steve's going to chat now and about his experience and let us know. And then at the end of it, I'm going to put Professor Turton, my old mate. He's in Australia now. Miss him so much. And he's going to round it off. But at the end of the day, if you guys see any of this kind of stuff happen again, this fish kill nonsense, please let me know and we're going to log it. Just make a Facebook post or whatever you do what you do and let me know so we can make sure that we don't see these incidents as isolated, which they are not. Okay, don't forget, like and subscribe. Thank you, Steve.
So my name's Steve Benjamin. I was up on the Elands Bay coast during the recent West Coast rock lobster walkout. I arrived there early in the morning. The red tide was extremely thick. We had been marveling at the bioluminescence the night before. You could smell the algal bloom. It was quite something. Clearly, there was no oxygen in the water, and many of the coastal fish species had died. This included galjoen, hottentot, jacopiva, hagfish, cat sharks, clipfish, rock suckers, octopus, and a huge number of West Coast rock lobster have become weak and were washing up onto the beach with the very small swell and tidal action. People were collecting tails and leaving the carcasses on the beach. Lots of locals and holidaymakers and just general public were loading up on as much living crayfish as possible throughout the early morning, from like 1 o'clock in the morning until the police arrived and kept the public at bay. And whilst the Department of Forestries and Fisheries collected and returned a huge amount of rock lobsters back off the point to deeper water where they can survive. Now, it's important that people shouldn't eat red tide weakened crayfish because you just don't know how long it's been dead for, and rotten seafood is a huge health hazard, as well as consuming too much red tide yourself. And now it's just better to leave it alone. It's also illegal. You're not allowed to have West Coast rock lobster in your possession unless you have a permit or you are part of the fishery, which is trying to continue to survive, even though much of their stock is now dead on the beach. So there's many reasons not to consume beach washout, red tide, rock lobsters, or other marine life. So the police did a great job to try do their best to return as much as possible in a very overwhelming task. Now, harmful algal blooms or red tides are caused by an abundance of microorganisms, normally dinoflagellates, which is a single-celled organism. But they reach such proportions due to nutrients and oceanographic conditions that they strip the oxygen out the water, and they can even start to decay. Bacteria set in and start to consume the dinoflagellates, and this just leads to a anoxic coastal tidal bloom. Now, the reason a red tide might stay in one area is because of, no swell, no wind, or stratification of the water column, warm water temperatures in these areas, and those oceanographic variables are very complicated to work out or describe, but needless to say, there could be many factors. Could be climate change, could be wind variation, current variation on a large global scale. But it is important to note that Elands Bay and this part of the West Coast quite often, fairly regularly does have this phenomenon occurring in multiple forms, not just a surface red tide. There are other variants of this. So it is a complicated system and a very interesting one. But there are many, many, many factors that go into a moment in time where West Coast rock lobsters walk out onto the beach.
Okay, Jan, so here you go. It's like orange, and you can see it's just starting to, so I don't know what it is. It's just bizarre. It's just the other side, but it's spreading, so I just hope it's not toxic. But I think if it was a bit toxic, I would probably smell something. I don't know what it is.
There are recent reports of what appears to be a red tide in the Umgeni River estuary. While this is not fully confirmed at this point in time, we do know that the Umgeni River is rich in wastewater return flows. We know that the hydraulic connection to the estuary is troubled, so the build-up of nutrients in the estuary has been a growing concern for a period of time. And we also know that excessive nutrients give way to biomass production, and typically biomass production in the form of different species of blue-green or sometimes red algae. These are generally toxic algae. So in all probability, what we're dealing with there is some form of red tide, and this is really nothing more than a biomass production or blooming of biomass of a toxic form of algae. And that's really what it is. We can't expect to continue to pollute our rivers with the level of sewage that we are throwing down them. 5 billion litres per day is what we're putting into our rivers of sewage, most of it untreated, or only at best partly treated. So we are going to start seeing more and more of this kind of thing, either in estuaries or in plumes going out to the ocean. We typically see red tides out in the sea, in the open water, or the inshore open water, not always, or not typically in a lagoon. However, it's possible to have it in a lagoon. So this is what I think we're dealing with. My name is Anthony Turton. I hope you found this potentially useful.